So today we're going to make some tamales, and so I am going to go over the ingredients of the tamales. So I'm making pork tamales, and what I'm using is some pork shoulder. You can use any kind of pork that you want, but I'm using pork shoulder, or you can actually use whatever you'd like. And then I'm going to use some of this California chiles, and then some laurels, which is pretty much bay leaves, and we're using some pasilla chiles. These are, I got 3 of them, 2 are pretty big, and we're going to use an onion, 1 whole onion, and then 4 garlic cloves. I got a pack of the corn husk, and then I also picked up some mozzarella because I want to make some cheese ones, and this is 32 ounces. You're going to use some masa. You're going to use some baking powder, some shortening, salt, and some of this chicken bouillon. Oh, and just to let everybody know, this is how I make my tamales. Everybody makes them differently. So this is my take on my tamales. As you can see, the pork is submerged in water. I put in 1 onion. I put in the 4 garlic cloves. I ended up putting 3 bay leaves, and then I put a tablespoon of this chicken bouillon right here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and let this cover it, and then let this cook until the meat is nice and tender. What you can also do is you can go ahead and season it and put it in the oven, and you can do that as well, but I like to use the broth to do my masa, so I can't make my masa until I actually cook my meat. So you can also use beef. I also do beef as well, and then I also do chicken, and I do the chicken with the green chili. And so there's different ways of making tamales, and I'm from Mexico, so you know, but even in Mexico they do different styles. I'm not really good with measurements. I just make them, so I'm gonna try my best to try to see if I can do measurements. Okay, so after the meat is done, we will work on our masa. Okay, so the kind of pot that you're going to use to make your tamales is one of these kind right here. I bought this at one of the Mexican stores, a Hispanic store. You can also buy these at Walmart. This thing right here with the holes on there, because you're going to steam your tamales. You fill it with water up to this line below this line here. You put back your thing with that. See, so, I mean, it looks like this. If you don't have that, I know there's tutorials on how to make your tamales without having one of these pots. So they bring these out around the holidays, and you can find them in a lot of different stores, especially if you go into a Hispanic store. You find them. This is a smaller one, and then they have a real big one, which I have a real big one, and I'm making tamales, you know, just for dinner today, and so I'm not going to make like a big pot of it. And so, yeah, this is the kind of pot that you would use. Okay, so while the meat is cooking, I'm going to start prepping everything else. So with your chile pasillas, what you're going to do is you're going to put them on, if you have a gas stove, you can do this. If you don't, you can just go ahead and put them on a skillet and then just kind of like frying them up. But you want to char them all up. You want to make sure that they get all charred. And then I'm also going to go, okay, so then I'm also going to cut up my cheese. And that way everything is just ready when you're ready to put them together. So I'm going to go ahead and char these guys up. I'm going to stick them in here in this bowl and then cover it with plastic wrap. So now I put them in here, and I told you I covered them, and now I'm just going to let them sit so they can sweat, and then it'll be easy to peel off the skin. Okay, you guys, you see how it just easily peels after it's been sitting in here for a little bit? Easy, just takes off. You take off all the skin. See? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and peel these, and then I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so our next step is gonna be to get our chile californias, and you can open them up and take out the seeds to deseed them. But I'm just gonna go ahead and open this bag up and put them all in here in water and let them boil. And this is a 3-ounce bag. And like I said, I'm not going to be making a lot of tamales. If I have any left over, I'll freeze them and then cook them another time. Okay, so I'm soaking my corn husk leaves. You have to soak them for about, I don't know, maybe an hour, I would say, in hot water just so they can get soft and pliable. So now we're gonna get started with the masa. I'm gonna mix it in this pot right here. I'm gonna go ahead and use some of this masa. I'm gonna use a cup. Like I said, I don't measure, so it's gonna be a little hard, so bear with me on this part. But let's do it together. Let's learn together the measurements. So let's see. Okay, so I ended up putting 5 cups of masa in there. I'm going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to do a tablespoon of the chicken bouillon. Also a tablespoon of salt. Let me kind of mix that all in together. You want your masa to taste good as well. Step is going to be, we're going to melt our lard. Okay guys, so I melted 2 cups of lard already on the stove right here. See that? Okay. We're going to do the 2 cups of lard. It's a lot of lard, I know. This is not for anybody who's on a diet, I'll tell you that much. And then we're going to add the broth from our pork that we cooked. So let me go ahead and we're going to do these in cups as well. There's 2 cups of broth right there so far. Let me stir this. And this is hot. This is why I have it on the counter and I put it on one of these other pots here. Okay, so let's add another cup. Okay guys, so it was 8 cups of the broth that I put in here. Excuse me. And so I'm going to cover this up and then let this sit for about an hour, I would say half hour to an hour, because it's going to rise with that baking powder. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover it. So set that to the side, and then we're just going to go ahead and prepare the sauce now. Okay, so now that your chilies are all completely done, they've been boiled and they're soft, now you're going to put it in your blender. I got the onion and the garlic from the meat that I was cooking, and I put it in here. So we're going to go ahead and blend it, and then when we're done blending it, we're going to put it in here in the strainer to strain it. We're going to combine our sauce and our meat that I already shredded together. Okay everybody, so now my masa has done. What I did was I added 1 tablespoon of the red chili sauce that I made after I strained it and everything. Okay, so I put 1 tablespoon in here and I mixed it just so it can get that flavor. I cut my chiles already in like little strips. Same way with my mozzarella. Okay, I already have my meat, my pork. I have my pork and my red chili sauce already. I already took out my leaves and I dried them, and I have them here ready to go. And then in my pot I already put the water in, again up to here, and then I lined the inside with corn husk. Now we're going to start building our tamales. Okay, so you're going to grab one of your corn husk leaves, and then on the, you have 2 sides to it. You have a nice smooth side and then the rough side. You're going to use the smooth side. You're going to have that up, okay? You're going to hold on to your tamal. You're going to grab your masa, put it on there, spread it out. This is so time consuming to make tamales, but they're so worth it in the end. And I'm the only one right now doing them, so it's taken me the whole entire day. Okay, so there it is. Now you're going to grab your carne or your pork and you're going to put it in the center, okay? Just like that. Then you're going to grab it, fold it, and then fold it over again, and then pinch the end, and then right on top like that. So it looks like this. Okay, let me show you how to do one, a cheese one. Okay, so now you're putting in cheese and the strand of your chile. Fold it, and then there you go. And if you want to be able to tell them apart, which ones are the cheese and which ones are the pork ones, you can tie them at the ends just like this, which I'm probably going to do to this because that way I know which ones are my cheese ones. So I'm going to tie them like this. Go ahead and use one of your leaves that's kind of like ugly, you know, and then kind of, or just rip it just like that, okay? And then you're going to grab your tamal and just tie the ends. And that way you can tell them apart which ones are which. Okay, see, there it is. That way I know these are my cheese. Okay guys, so see there, I lined them all at the bottom of my pan, or of my pot. And just to let you guys know, I did add some more of the broth onto my masa to make it a little, because it was pretty thick, so I wanted it a little thinner. So, you know, just play with it after it sits, because once it sets up, it starts to soak it all in and it starts to get thick. So just add some more liquid, and then until it gets to a nice consistency that you like, where it's really spreadable. You don't want it too thin, you don't want it too thick. Okay, and then now what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to go ahead and just cover it with some of these extra corn husks right on top, and then I'll put the rest of my tamales right on top, the cheese ones. And then again, we're going to let this cook for a couple hours, and then it'll be ready. Okay guys, and after it's completely cooked, this is what they look like. I made a salsa to put on top. And we eat them with rice. And yeah, so I hope everybody enjoys this recipe. Thanks for watching. Bye. So I just wanted to show really quickly, the next day after we make our tamales, we like to fry them up like this. And then have them for either breakfast with an egg or for dinner with some rice and beans. And yeah, they taste really good fried. Of course, it's not healthy for you, but that's how we like to eat them on the next day. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys.